Welcome, welcome, welcome. And boy, oh boy, how things change after a win. Yesterday, everybody wanted to throw away the season, trade all the players. Now today, everybody's talking about, this is the team we expected in the beginning of the year. Now we're going to go on a roll. And honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards that way. I know my instincts tell me, hey, you know what? There's still a lot of work to do. But I saw a lot of good things tonight. A lot of good things. We're going to go over it. This video is going to be chock full of information. Chock full. I can't believe how much stuff we got to go over. And we got a lot of good stuff. But first, I would just like to say thank you for the wonderful comments we've gotten on all our past videos. You all are wonderful, great, excellent, and I'm blown away. And if you can continue to like the channel, it really helps the channel grow. We're a fairly new channel. We've only been doing this for about 5 or 6 months now. We've had tremendous growth, and that's all because of you. But if you can continue to hit that like and subscribe, and I promise you, if you don't like the channel or if it's not your thing, you can always hit the unclick the subscribe button, please. So please give us a chance, subscribe, and like I said, it just takes a half a second to unsubscribe. All right, well, thank you for giving me that moment. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about one quick point. We're going to be talking about Verlander first. Then we're going to get into today's game. We're going to talk about Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Lindor, the wonderful performance of David Peterson. And at the end of the video, we got some nice stuff about Billy Eppler, Buck Showalter, Steve Cohen, all the leaders. Steve Cohen made some interesting remark on Twitter. He's going to have a press conference tomorrow. Billy Eppler spoke to the media. Buck Showalter spoke to the media. So it looks like the Mets front office plan is we are going to be accountable. We are going to stand in front of the media. We're going to answer questions. And we are going to take this full force, head on. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to break that down. All right. So first, I want to make a quick comment about Justin Verlander. And this is not, I'm not attacking anyone. I have respect for everybody's opinion. Everybody, whether I disagree with it or not, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. That's the beauty of everything. Okay. But Justin Verlander, in his last start, he went 5 innings. He pitched 100 pitches, and he gave up 0 runs, so we give him credit for that. But he struggled. So because he only pitched 5 innings, Drew Smith had to come in very early in the game, in the 6th. The bullpen had to cover 4 innings because Justin Verlander had to leave the game early. Thus, Drew Smith gave up a 2-run homer. We ended up losing the game. Okay. So I made a video about him last video, and I said the guy was out of shape. I said the guy's not living up to his $43 million contract. And I had a couple comments, and like I said, I respect the opinion. And they said to me, what do you expect? He pitched 5 innings, 0 earned runs. He kept the team in the game. And, you know, those comments, like I said, I respect, but I have to address because I'll tell you exactly what I expect from him. I expect him at $43 million a year to be the best damn pitcher in the entire league. And if he's not going to be the best damn pitcher, he better be in the top 3. Okay? Maybe top 10 if you're going to go like, you know, if the MLB's flooded with good pitchers. But for him to be the 100th best pitcher and to just have a mediocre performance, 5 innings against the 2nd worst offense in the National League and labor throughout, that's not that impressive, especially when you are counted on to go deep, to keep your team in it, and to extend the outing. That's what it is. Where our problem is the pitchers are going short. You saw David Peterson tonight. He went 6 strong. I know it's only an additional inning, but that means the world. If you go 6 or 7 innings, you cut the bullpen's work in half. If you cut the bullpen's work in half, there's less of an opportunity to blow the game, and now you can focus on your high leverage relievers as opposed to going to the garbage relievers. So it makes all the difference in the world, and that's why you pay guys $40-something million. That's the bottom line. Okay, so I wanted to get that out of the way, and thank you everybody for your comments. We can disagree all day. That's part of the fun of it. Please drop a comment. If you disagree with me, I love that. I love that. I love the dialogue we're having. In the comments, we are having excellent dialogue. Okay, so to get into tonight, well, first we're going to look at David Peterson. David Peterson just came back from his stint in the he was sent down to the minor leagues. Peterson had a huge problem with control. He was walking guys, his pitchers were sailing, his slider wasn't tight, he was having a bunch of issues, and then he'd lay pitchers over the plate and he'd get bombed. Okay, so control was an issue, his pitchers didn't have proper movement, he wasn't generating ground balls, he wasn't striking guys out like he was last year, but today was different. His first 2 innings, it was a little shaky. He was trying to get comfortable. He was throwing a lot of pitches, and I was a bit worried because the pitches he was throwing, he didn't have control. Once the 3rd inning hit, he turned it on. He really did. Throughout the course of the game, he generated a couple key double plays, and he kept the Mets in it. The guy was lights out. He's a pitcher who has great stuff. He throws in the mid-90s. He has a great slider. He strikes about 10 batters per inning, and if his ball has movement the way it did tonight, he's going to generate a lot of ground balls. You saw in these tight situations where there were men at first and second, I believe it was 3 times. Double play, double play, double play. Lindor was web gem after web gem. I mean, David Peterson, if you put the ball on the ground, we got good guys in the infield. McNeil stepped it up. Lindor's been a Gold Glove this year, I got to say. He's really stepped it up since he's had a kid, I got to say. Cut the hair, had the kid. Lindor's a whole different player. We're going to get into him. But I got to give David Peterson all the credit in the world. Congratulations. You kept us in the game. You're going to be a major leaguer for a very long time if you repeat performances like that. Okay, so now let's get into the lineup. Nimmo, Lindor. You win based on your stars' performances. You need Lindor to perform. You need Alonso to perform. You need Nimmo to perform. You need Marte to perform. These are going to be the guys who perform, and this is who we're going to be rely on to have success. Now, Julio Teheran, if you noticed, he dominated in the beginning of the game. And he's dominated the Mets over the course of his career. But he's not a hard thrower. He's not. He's a guy who has good control. And if guys don't have the right approach, they are going to get themselves out. The Mets, this game, they had the right approach. If you noticed, Nimmo did yank his first 2-run homer down the in right center field. So it was a bomb, but most of the homers were hit opposite field. Lindor, a bomb. As a lefty, he hit it to left center field. It was a bomb. He went with the pitch. Vogelbach, oh my God, the guy, it was a high pitch, high fastball, smoked it to left center field, opposite field. Nimmo, his second home run, opposite field. It's all about approach. You have a good approach, you're going to be successful. Nimmo had a great game. Nimmo showed why he could be an all-star, why he is a valuable asset on this team. Lindor showed why he could be a leader, why he was paid $34 million. He's making web gems. He's doing well in the clubhouse. On the field, if you notice, his swing is so much more fluid. He looks loose. It looks like he has a powerful swing. I mean, and folks, he's got 200 home runs right now. He's 29 years old. They put a graphic on the screen how there was only 6 or 7 players in MLB history that at this point in their career had 200 home runs. One of them was like A-Rod. He had 290 something. But Francisco Lindor, this guy might have over 400 home runs, be a Gold Glove defensive guy. He might be a Hall of Fame man if he continues this. I know I'm getting ahead of myself because I have a lot of negative Lindor videos out there. So I'm a guy who will who will tell you exactly what I see. If you play well, I'm going to say you play well. If you play crappy, I'm going to tell you play crappy. But Lindor is playing well right now. You see it. He exudes energy. He exudes all the positive things a leader needs to do on the field, which I'm very, very happy about. And you can see the lineup was very fluid. We're still not taking pitchers like we were last year. Last year, we were taking pitchers. Our approach was always consistent. But I do like the fact that we're improving. We are improving. We are improving tremendously. I got to say that. And another thing I wanted to actually note what we did last year with the and we are going to speak about the Billy Eppler quotes. We have that coming up. Also Buck and Steve Cohen. But the pitchers last year, if you notice, and Chris Bassett did this, Max Scherzer did this, after guys like McGill and Peterson would come out of the game, they would automatically huddle. They'd automatically go over the game situation. They do this even in between innings, and I haven't really noticed that maturity on the bench, that level of leadership, which I don't know if it was all on Bassett, but I do know, and I've read articles about how Bassett has been mentoring Alex Manoah, who's been struggling in Toronto. So that is something that we have been missing in the rotation. And the rotation has been our biggest weakness. You know, we had our biggest point of strength, and obviously it hasn't been performing anywhere near where we needed it to. Okay, so first we're going to go into the Eppler quotes. And I have some notes on Eppler. Eppler made a lot. He was very honest in his interview. I did like that. And his number one focus when they asked him why the team's not performing, it was all about pitching. He really focused a lot on Edwin Diaz. And I guess we don't really realize this, or, you know, maybe some of us do. But Edwin Diaz, not only does he have an impact on the field, but what Eppler was trying to say is he had 4 dominant relievers going into the season, right? Because they're like, how did you go into the season with this bullpen? He's like, well, I had 4 dominant relievers, 4 proven relievers. I had Robinson, I had Ottavino, I had Raley, and I had Diaz. And then I also had Drew Smith, who was a budding reliable option. He's like, that's a good bullpen. But when you take out Edwin Diaz, that you strong link, every other link becomes weak. Then everybody else is put in a different space. Now David Robertson's not an 8th inning guy. Now he's a closer. Now Ottavino's not a 7th inning guy. Now he's an 8th inning guy. So the whole roster immediately changes in the bullpen. So they asked him, you know, why didn't you get an extra guy then? And then he goes, had I known in the offseason, I would have. But by the time he got injured, the guys who are worth getting were already on teams. So he told us right there we're short. But here's where I have to call him out. It's been 3 months since Edwin Diaz got injured. And if you know that it's that pivotal of a problem and your whole bullpen is out of shape and you're telling us that, then you gotta move heaven and earth. And I'm not saying trade away top prospects, but I'm saying this is where you're paid to make the move. You have to get another piece in there that will help not put everybody out of place. You have to acquire another asset. And it's kind of sad that you don't have one pitcher in the minor leagues that's good enough to be serviceable. But that being said, I have to hold him accountable for that because he has had 3 months to replace Diaz. And you're not going to replace him, but you're going to have to try to replace some of his production. Okay, now let's move on to his starting rotation. So they go, how do you feel about the starting rotation? And he says that they're very underwhelming, and that's a big part of the team that has been underperforming. He says that the lineup has been okay, but the fact that we've been so bad is because as mentioned early in the video, the starting pitchers, they're not going deep in the game. That means the bullpen has to come in earlier. And as mentioned, the bullpen guys are already out of place. So now the starting rotation is not going deep into the game. You would think if the starters went deep into a game, that might help with the Diaz loss. But now you got the starters not going deep. Then you got the Diaz loss. So you have a huge gap in the middle that you're trying to cover, and we can't cover it. That's why we're having a lot of trouble. Okay. So they asked Billy Eppler, you constructed this roster. We're playing bad. What are you planning on us doing? And Eppler basically responded, these are veterans with track records. These guys have a baseball card, and we are expecting them to produce. Okay, so you're expecting them to produce. Doesn't really sound like he's ready to make any bigger moves right now. He's not ready to sell. But how much time are you going to give these guys? Now, tonight was a great start. Hopefully they can build off this. You have Quintana coming back in about a week or so. You have Peterson, who looks like he should be in the rotation full time, especially if he pitches like this. So those are two guys you add to the rotation to supplement other guys who are doing bad. Cookie right now, he doesn't belong in the rotation. So let's look at this right now. So let's just say Peterson's going to be productive. You have David Peterson, you're going to have Quintana, you're going to have Sanga, you're going to have Verlander, and you're going to have Scherzer. So that's 5 guys right there who could be very productive. Then Tyler McGill gets slotted into a position where he's not relied upon to be a high leverage starting pitcher. Now he can be a middle reliever, and he's going to be put in the position where the pressure is not as high. So thus, your team gets stronger, it gets deeper, and that's how we can actually fortify our rotation. Okay. All right, so, that's what Billy Eppler basically, he gave the gist of. The bullpen's been an issue because of Diaz. The starting rotation has not living up to expectation. The lineup has been okay. The veterans, they're expected to produce. And that was Eppler in a nutshell. He took accountability. He took responsibility. And he basically said that we're not going to sell this moment. But if things persist, he said there's a lot of time between now and the deadline. That may happen in a few weeks or so. So we're going to monitor that situation. So again, if you could like and subscribe, because on this channel, we are going to monitor it in depth very, very closely. Okay, so now we're going to get on to Steve Cohen. And Steve Cohen came out today, and he basically said, press conference tomorrow. He's going to address the media. And I had a couple messages, and I don't know if these people are in the know. I had a couple of people pretending like they were in the know. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. And they basically said that Steve Cohen is going to come out, and he's not going to say anything spectacular. He's going to take accountability. He's going to say that he's going to answer his questions, but we're not going to make any changes with Buck. We're not going to make any changes with Eppler. We're just going to basically say that we're supporting these guys and that the players on the field are expected to produce. We've got and acquired these players who have track records for a reason. So that's what basically Steve Cohen's going out there. He's going out there to answer questions, and he's going out there to support the guys that he has in leadership right now. So let's see if that comes to fruition. And the gentleman who sent me that message, it seems like a pretty generic thing. I would guess that myself, but let's see what happens. I don't think it's going to be like anything spectacular myself. I think it's just everybody was calling for Steve Cohen to answer questions, and he's just going to comply and answer questions. So as far as Buck Showalter, all right, now you see our flag is falling down. Now that's a video. Let's see if the rest of the flag falls down. Okay, and we don't edit stuff like this out. Stuff that happens naturally happens naturally. All right, so as far as Buck Showalter is concerned, Buck looked a lot better today in the press conference. You got to figure it's hard on a guy who was so dedicated and passionate toward finding. This guy is always trying to figure out a lineup. He's always trying to figure out a roster, a starting rotation. these pitchers, a bullpen. He's doing a lot of different work to try to make this thing work. So, of course, it's going to be a lot of stress on his shoulders. And I think he's doing an okay job. He's not making the best decisions all the time. But I think when you have a lot of stress on you, and we all know this in our daily lives, when you have a lot of stress on your shoulders, it's hard to burden that all the time. So let's see what happens tomorrow. We're going to cover the Steve Cohen. If it's anything significant, we're going to put out a video after that. There goes the flag. There goes the flag. Any Braves fan that sees this, clap, clap. I'm sure you're happy. But everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. This channel has been growing tremendously, especially in the last couple of weeks, and that is thanks to you. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. What can I say? This community is here for you. And again, if you could subscribe. Only thing left on the wall. I can't thank you enough. Very fun to do. And everybody who participates, you make this a very enjoyable experience. So let's keep these videos going and keep the participation going. As Met fans, we're all in this together. And I always say this, it can't get any worse, but it probably will. But, tonight, it didn't. It got a lot better. So let's go Mets, and I will speak to you soon. Have a great night.